Hi, I'm Alexandria, and your name is?
I'm Ashley.
How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
I am fine. Thank you for asking. So, what brings you in today? What do you want to get off your chest?
Well, I'm currently in a relationship.
Mhm.
I've been in it for 2 years. For me, this is my longest and most serious relationship, and lately I've just been feeling a little unsure about us.
Okay, and what do you mean by unsure? Could you maybe elaborate a little bit more about that?
Well, I guess more so what kind of future we have, or even if we have a future, or if we're just waiting out an expiration date.
Oh, okay. Okay, so from kind of what you're giving to me is that you're a little bit scared because this is your first and longest relationship that you've had so far, and you're a little bit concerned about if you have like an expiration date or anything, or you're concerned about the future. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, we both work full time, and so we don't really get out as much as we used to before. You know, we used to go out and do things, that normal couples do and things like that. But lately it's just kind of, we don't get to do that as much anymore. So it's a lot's changed since the beginning.
Okay. Can you kind of give me an example of like what happened in the beginning as far as what's happening now?
Well, when we first started dating, we would go out, out to eat or bowling or, just kind of do new things together. We're really into hiking and taking walks and things like that.
Exciting.
Yeah. And more so now, it's just if we do go out, it's like out to eat and that's it.
Okay. Okay. So from what you're telling me, it seems like you're a little bit disappointed of where you stand in your relationship right now. And it's not like it was in the beginning, which is not a lot of excitement. It's just something that you do normal every day, and you're just like, oh, okay, we're just gonna go and eat and come home and go to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we do live together, so
Okay.
so that's taken a lot of it out as well. Is that we're so used to the routine that we have at home. We live together, so we work, we come home, and we just kind of spend time together there. So we're still spending time together, but it's mostly on the couch watching TV.
Do you think? Well, do you think that kind of upsets him, or is it upsetting you? Because what I'm kind of getting is that you're a little bit thinking that the relationship that you have now is kind of bored and dull because you're confined to the same routine.
I'm not sure how he's feeling. I haven't really had the courage to talk to him about it, but I know I'm definitely feeling that way. And I love him.
Mm-hmm.
He's my best friend, and I love being with him. And we still, despite it not being like it was in the beginning, we still do new things together, and we still have exciting times. I know the biggest thing with couples who've been together for a while, their sex life starts to lack, but we actually have a really good sex life.
Okay.
And we still try new things there. And,
Okay.
And awkward things as well. Word for the wise. Don't get drunk and have sex. That needs to stay in college. That is not made for grown-ups. But so we still have some excitement there. So it's not all bad. It's just slowly. It's definitely more downhill than uphill lately.
Okay, so it sounds like you're a little bit optimistic because you guys have the desire to do adventurous things together as far as your sex life, but maybe it's not going in the way that you want as far as a relationship. So your sex life is fine, but you wanting to be out, do hiking again, like you say, and stuff like that. It's not what's happening right now.
No.
Okay.
We it's a routine that we're definitely in, and a lot of it has to do with obviously we can't go out and spend a lot of money every night, but so I think that stops us as well from getting out and doing things together, like when we went bowling or even movies, but that's kind of obsolete because there's not really any good movies out now. So that's not really his fault. None of this is really his fault. Like I said, I don't really know how he's feeling about all this. I haven't had the courage to talk to him. I've never really been an open person to talk about my feelings,
okay.
and it's changed a little bit with him, but I still get nervous, and I don't want to upset him. I don't want him to think that I don't love him anymore.
Okay, so from what you just said, are you feeling a little bit anxious to speak with him about it because of what you just said about you don't want him to feel like you're in a bad place with him or something like that?
Oh, very, very. I don't want him to think that any bad thoughts about this. He was in a really long relationship before me. He was married, and I know things didn't go so well with that. And he has a really big heart, and he's a really great guy, and he wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's a very emotional person, and I'm afraid he'll take it the wrong way if I bring up the fact that I'm not completely happy with how we are right now.
Okay.
So, and I just don't know if this is something that normal couples go through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is my first relationship, and I don't have any other experience to go off of, so I don't know if this is something I'm just struggling with, or if this is something that many couples go through. If, you know, they kind of reach this point of what next? Do we fix it, or is this it, or
Okay.
You know?
So you're kind of unsure if this is actually normal since he's been in a long relationship, but you really haven't been in a relationship as long as him, or do you think this is just the standstill, like this is how it's going to be from now in the future?
I certainly hope it's not going to be this way, and I'm working up the courage to talk to him. This is really helping right here.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of putting my thoughts out, just bringing them out of my head and actually putting them down. So I think that'll be easier for when I do talk to him. But I'm hoping that he'll at least understand. He has to realize the change too. I really feel like he sees it as well.
Okay.
And I just don't know if he's feeling the exact same way as in if he's okay with this change, or, you know, I know it's not going to be how it was in the beginning forever.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be. We're comfortable with each other now,
right.
You know. In the beginning, you know, I was embarrassed to burp in front of him, and now we have burping contests. So it's definitely
That's pretty awesome.
so it's definitely not the same. But you know, I just want to know what's going on in his head as well.
So do you think he's maybe comfortable with where he's at right now, and that's what's probably got you a little bit anxious to talk to him? Because he's, as you said, he was in a very long relationship before, or is it anything else?
I know that my own awkwardness has a lot to do with it. I'm just not good with talking about my feelings. I feel like it comes out wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want it to come out wrong because he has, you know, he's an anxious person. He has anxiety issues, and he can get a little high strung really fast, and I don't want the situation to spiral out of control before I really have a chance to explain myself.
Ah, okay. Well, that makes total sense, and I can definitely understand that. Do you think maybe you'll be able to somehow get your feelings out into like maybe a piece of paper, like you know, because you said that this is maybe helping you?
That could help. Writing it down. Are you talking about like writing him a letter, or?
Oh, well, I didn't even think of that. How do you feel about that?
It would be a little weird,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe.
Would it be weird if you wrote the letter to him, or if you just kind of wrote it in like your own diary to actually get your feelings out?
I mean, that could certainly help as well. But in the end, I do want to talk to him. I don't know if writing a letter, maybe write a letter to at least explain where I'm at, and then definitely talk about it once after he's read a little bit of it,
Mm-hmm.
so he can understand. Because I'm not good at starting things out either. Like, I feel like I'm just going to make it sound worse than it actually is, and that will get him all worried and anxious, and at that point, you know, it'll escalate more than it needs to be. When all we just need is a simple talk and just figure
Mm-hmm.
out, you know, exactly where we're at, and you know, how we want things to go from here, because I think something needs to be fixed, even if it is just like little things.
So like itty bitty things. So what happens when you try to attempt to talk? Is it like you just say up and then you just stop, or?
He can get a little snitty, a little snidey, and that will stop me if I feel like he's getting a little bit of an attitude,
Mm-hmm.
because I just don't feel like getting into a fight, and I feel like that's what it's going to lead to.
So it sounds like you're trying to avoid any confrontation, period.
Yes, I do not
Before
like
it even
confrontation.
starts.
Yeah. And whenever he gets a little attitude, it's like, oh, that's where that's going.
Okay, well, it looks like we have maybe 2 to 3 more minutes left. Is there anything else that we would like to talk about? Like as far as the difference that you see in your past relationships and his past relationships that may have gotten you to where you are right now?
Well, I know with him, he was married. Mm-hmm. No kids were involved, so it was kind of a clean break. It was just more so that they weren't happy together after 10 years of marriage. So they went their separate ways. They don't communicate now. And from what I understand, I mean, I only have his side of the story, but he was a very faithful and, good husband. And I don't know if that's where I see us going. I'm not a big person I'm not a big marriage fan. It's not for me. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if, we've kind of talked about in the beginning, he didn't really express any kind of interest in getting married again right away. So we've never really had that talk in the sense of going to that. Mm-hmm. But I think that's not really a big deal. But in my past relationships, I mean, besides him, I only really dated a guy in high school, and that was a high school relationship. He was older than me, so whenever he wanted to get serious, I was starting college, and it just didn't work out.
Okay.
So
were you kind of afraid to get it, because he was older, were you a little afraid of starting where he wanted you to start? Because you're going to college, he was older, maybe he wasn't going to college.
At that moment, I definitely wasn't ready. I had never had a serious boyfriend.
Okay.
And really dated around, and he was wanting to get serious, and so that just wasn't going to work out. At the time, it didn't work out. And my boyfriend now, he's older than me. We're 8 years apart, so he definitely has a lot more life experience.
Okay.
But we fit together well.
Do you think that maybe intimidates you because he has a little bit more life experience? That's why it's a little bit, you feel anxious to speak with him?
Oh yeah, he was a married man. He's done the full commitment. He's definitely a lot more experience in the relationship field. But I think that once we do talk, it will be okay. So just hopefully we're able to have a good conversation.
Okay, well, thank you for coming in. Do you think that kind of gave you some lift off of your shoulders?
Oh yeah, definitely helped. So I appreciate it.
Will it help you in the future to, finally get past that anxious part?
It'll be good stepping stones.
Good. Well, again, if you need to come in again, just contact me any way you would like to, and have a good day.
All right, you too.
Thank you.